and let's say we're afraid or we're avoiding doing the small things that we need to do, we're underactivated. We're not emotionally engaged enough. And so there are some things that we can do to increase our emotional activation. And so we just have to know where we are on that activation scale so that we're between that 4 and that 6. And that's where our best performance is when we're emotionally regulated.
I love it. Love it. Love it. No, very, very profound. Very nice. How would you say, what are few mental performance skills that we could use today? What are some of these skills? Yeah.
That's such a good question. Yeah. Oftentimes when I work with That's such a good question. Yeah. Oftentimes when I work with athletes or I'll work with business people, they want something right now, like help me right now. So I have a couple things. So number one is something that I would ask you to use your imagination. So I would ask you to use your imagination. I want you to think of a red reset button. A red reset button. So like on a computer, sometimes there's too many programs that are running and we have to reset the computer, right? We have to reset the hard drive. And once we reset the hard drive, then we can sort of reload the proper programs into our mind. So the trick of the red reset button is throughout the day, instead of like letting all these events and conversations pile up in our mind and sort of overload our mind, what if we just, after each of our conversations, just simply reset the hard drive? And so you're in a conversation at 9 a.m. and it was an hour long and you're talking about millions of dollars and it's really important and really big, but you can't carry that into your next conversation. You've got to reset your mind. And so my encouragement to people is to reset your mind multiple times per day so that you can be fully present and emotionally regulated and being optimistic and positive in the new conversation that you're having. So sometimes we have a negative conversation or one that was hard or difficult, but sometimes we let that sort of seep into our next conversation or even a conversation with our wife, right? And so what we can do is we can reset after that conversation and go into a new one, brand new, clear mind. All we've done is reset the brain, the hard drive. And so now we're fresh all again. And it's a new situation, new conversation with new opportunities and new challenges. So I would say the number one thing that I teach my athletes and people in business is to have a red reset button, at least in your mind, where you can reset often. I had one CEO of a company I was teaching this concept to, and the next day, on Amazon.com, he bought a red reset button and he put it on his desk.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So he put it on his desk and he called me. He goes, Gary, this reset button is magic. I love it. How did I not know about this? And so he just said, after every meeting, I just hit the red reset button and it's just done wonders for me mentally. So that's number one, is hitting that red reset button often throughout your day. The second one I would say is doing something called neutral thinking. Neutral thinking. So one of my mentors was, there was a quarterback that played for the Seattle Seahawks. Now he plays for the Denver Broncos. That gentleman's name is Russell Wilson, but he had a mental performance coach and his name was Trevor Moad. So Trevor and I met and we became friends and he became my mentor in mental performance skills. And one of the things that he taught was neutral thinking. So neutral thinking is after you hit that reset button, and that red reset button is crucial. And it's really important that we do that often. But neutral thinking is when we say, okay, I'm going to cut off all the negativity of anything that's happened previously in my day. So I'm going to cut off those negative thoughts and I'm not going to worry about the future. I'm not going to be anxious about the future. I'm simply going to focus on the here and the now in this particular moment. So think of it. I don't know if you can see this. This is
yes, I can. Yes.
And this represents the future, and this represents the past, I don't know if it's very difficult to see, but there's sand that's dripping right through
it
the
is.
middle.
Yep.
And that's where I want my athletes and my business people to live. So if their mind is in the future, in another zip code or time zone or just somewhere in the future, that creates anxiety. If your mind is in the past, that also creates anxiety. In fact, anxiety is an over preoccupation with the past or the future. So I need the best performance needs to happen right in the present moment, right in the very middle. And so when we reset and we think in neutral and we stay right in the middle, we're not concerned about the future or the past. We live right in the middle. Then we can perform at peak levels.
Love it. Love it. Love it. This is very exciting. Very exciting. You've added so many great nuggets, Gary. I really appreciate that, brother. No, this is.
Hi, you are listening to Syndication Made Easy podcast. We will be right back after this short break.
Hi, thank you so much. This is Vinney Chopra, and thank you for subscribing to my podcast and YouTube channel and Facebook pages and all the great things, and LinkedIn. Connect with me. I come live to you every Friday at 9:30 Pacific with Vinney and Bo show. Please also look at that. And also the podcast, which is my Apartment Syndication Made Easy. The book I wrote a couple of years back became international top seller on Amazon International now. And then we like to bring great guests for you every week or twice a week sometime to give you a lot of great knowledge. So please subscribe. You give us 5-star reviews on the iTunes. The better the guests we can bring, and our ranking will go higher also. Thanks again for following us and really getting the most out of it. Please comment, like, share, because we would love to bring better and better material for you.
I really appreciate that, brother. No, this is very, very, I hope everybody listening to us, guys, this episode, there are so many great nuggets. I hope you will go back and re-listen to it. I listened to some podcasts 2-3 times. I saved them also on your iPhone, Android, and this is that episode. I would really, recommend everybody. What are few mental performance skills? We just talked about that. The other question I have is there a better way to be mentally tough or mentally adaptable?
Yeah, we talk about mental resilience in sports and business a lot. Like the ability to be resilient is very, very important in business. So my attitude about this is, think of 2 boxers, and let's say you're going to bet that one of these boxers is going to win. Do you want the boxer who's the really tough guy, or do you want the boxer who adapts to his opponent? And the wise choice is that you want someone who is adaptable, because the guy that's really tough, he can be tough, but there's only so many punches that you can take. But fighting someone who's adaptable they're very difficult to beat because they're adapting to you. And so when it comes to mindset, what we want is to have an adaptable mindset, one that can go into a situation and say, okay, so here's the situation, here's all the variables, here's all the business opportunities, and then they can adapt their mind to that specific situation. We don't want someone going in with the same thought for every situation, every conversation. We don't want to do that. We want to be adaptable. So being adaptable allows us to be pliable or flexible. And so having a pliable or a flexible mindset or adaptable mindset they're very powerful. Imagine having a block of wood that's a tough block of wood, but if you hit it enough times with a hammer, it will break. But if you try and hit a phone book that's this thick, it's going to take, you can't rip it apart. You can't throw rocks at it. It's so durable, right? Because it's so adaptable. It's so flexible. It's so pliable. And so that's how we want our mind to be. We want our mind to have so many layers of adaptability so that no matter the situation, we can adapt to it.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Really. No, this is so good. Gary, also, I'd love to ask you, I know game plan for lives. I know I've heard you saying, so why should we have a game plan for our lives? What do you mean by that?
Yeah. Well, so a lot of the mental skills performance training that I do is like a playbook for your mind, but we also need a game plan for our lives. And so the question becomes is, who am I? Who am I? Because I've been uniquely wired. I have a unique DNA, just like everybody else on the planet. We're all unique. We're all made beautifully and wonderfully. And so we're all different. And so because we're all different, we have different things that make our minds turn and things that motivate us. And we're just very different. So we're the puzzle. Like we got to figure us out. And so having a game plan for your life is, how am I wired? Where am I going? What's my vision? What's my calling? What kind of impact do I want to see in life? And how can I make that happen? Like, what's my strategy for making that happen? And so having a game plan for your life can be so powerful because it gives you a direction to move in your professional and in your personal life. And that alignment of your professional and your personal life, when we align those two things, oh my gosh, sparks fly. It's beautiful.
I love it. I love it.
And so we have to work hard at aligning our personal life and our professional life. And so having a game plan for your life really is like a master plan on how I move forward and how I do business and who I am. And they bring all those things into alignment. And so I do have a mental performance system that I teach. I also have the game plan for life. That's a 2-day strategic plan for somebody's life. So when I sit down with someone for 2 straight days and we make a game plan for their life, and they'll use it for the rest of their life. It's so game changing. It's so amazing. And people fly from all over North America to spend time with me here in Seattle, and I take them through the game plan for life. And so I think everyone is so much better when they know where they're going. I think most people would succeed in life if they just had a plan. But most people, like in business, when it comes to helping people do what you do, they just lack the plan. They might lack the mindset and they lack the plan. And so I decided that I was going to solve the mindset problem and I was going to solve the plan problem. And so those are the 2 primary things that I do, is help people have a playbook for their mind and a game plan for their life.
I love it. Love it. Love it. No, thank you so much, Gary. You've given so many great nuggets. And I really would love everybody how can people talk to you and find you? Yeah.
Well, thank you. So I'm on TikTok at Elite Mindset. I'm on Instagram at Elite Mindset. I have a couple different websites on leadership and self-leadership and mindset and the game plan for life. So people can just type in my name on Google and you'll find all sorts of things there. But essentially it's Instagram's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. And people can send me a private message on Elite Mindset.
Oh, love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gary, for coming and hanging out with me. Thank you guys for listening. And remember this episode, I hope you'll re-listen to it. There are so many great nuggets, and give us that 5-star review and also share. So you can share this episode with all your friends in YouTube, of course, and all of them otherwise on iTunes and Stitcher and everywhere. Again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Gary, for coming on the show, and look forward to chatting with you all again.
Thank you again, for joining Vinney Chopra this week on this podcast. And please subscribe, share, give comments, and give 5-star rating if you can on iTunes, because that really helps a lot for us to bring great guests. And also iTunes raises our rankings up. And I hope you have been very happy with Vinney Chopra and team, who are able to bring great information. If you would like to invest with us, please go ahead and go to vinneychopra.com/invest. Thanks again. God bless you.